Hi everyone, and welcome. Today, using a simple example, we'll go through the core principles of working with transitions, modifiers, and rules. We'll create an opening and closing animation for the food box in this air fryer. Let's get started. The core idea is simple. Rules are used to trigger modifiers, and modifiers in turn activate transitions. First, let's make sure we know the name of the mesh we're going to animate. Next, let's switch to the Transitions tab and click the Add button. This opens a new window where we can choose the object type and then select the specific object we want to animate. Each object type has its own set of animation parameters, so the available options will change depending on what you select. For the camera, these are Camera Position and Target Position. For camera controls, we have more parameters for more control. For a mesh node, we have the standard parameters: position, rotation, and scale. Annotations use the same parameters. For light sources, we can additionally animate intensity and color. Materials allow us to animate opacity and color. 3D text in the scene is a geometry object, so we can change its position, rotation, and scale as well. We can also rotate the global environment map along the Y-axis. Let's select Mesh Node from the type list and then find the required object in the target list. We're going to change only the position, so the other parameters can be disabled. Let's rename this transition. When a new transition is created, the position coordinates match the current position of the object, so this transition will represent the closed state. Now, let's create a duplicate and rename it. To make the object move, we need to define new coordinates. In this case, the movement happens along the Z-axis, so we'll adjust only the Z value and leave the other axes unchanged. Let's play each transition to see how it works. Using transitions, we can also control the animation by adjusting duration and delay, and enable looping if needed. Now that the box animation is ready, let's add an animation for the camera. First, we'll create an animation for the open state. Activate the transition for opening the box and place the camera in a suitable position. Then add a new transition. This time, we leave Camera selected in the type list, and let's give it the correct name. Next, close the box and set the camera for this state. I want to use the camera's initial position. To do this, go to the Cameras tab and click this icon. Now, return to the Transitions tab and create a new transition for this position. Now that we have all the required transitions, let's create modifiers for them. To do this, click the special button available in each transition. Let's move over to the Modifiers tab. At this stage, we could already call these modifiers via the API or create rules for them, but let's group them to make future work easier. Add a new modifier. With modifiers, we can create various actions, for example, changing a material's color, replacing a material entirely for specific meshes, or showing and hiding mesh groups. We need to select a modifiers group to organize our actions. Let's rename it. Now click Add Existing and select the modifiers responsible for opening the box. Repeat the same process for closing the box. Create another modifier group and select the appropriate modifiers. Next, go to the Rules tab and create a new rule. In the target list, you'll see the events that can trigger a modifier. We'll use click. Then, in the modifier list, select the required modifier. Now choose the object that will trigger the modifier when clicked. Usually, we use annotations for this, but since annotations are not part of today's topic, We'll select the handle mesh of the box to trigger the Open modifier and the body mesh of the air fryer to trigger the Close modifier. Now that the animation and its activation logic are set up, there's one last step. Go to the Scene Settings, then to the Renderer tab. By default, only annotations are clickable. Let's change the click mode parameter to Always On. Save the project, publish it, and let's test how it works. Click on the box. Great! Now click on the air fryer body. The animation works correctly, which means everything is set up properly. Thanks for watching, and see you soon in the next videos.